Hello, hello. We had quite the little technical disaster going on today, so I'm just going to record this and upload it as I get an opportunity to. We are going to be doing our free card class with purchase today. The information and link to go ahead and make that purchase through the current host code will be in the description and or the comments, depending on whether or not you're on Facebook or YouTube. But it will be there, I promise you. So in order to get today's free class, which is featuring the Translucent Florals bundle, will be a total of 6 cards, 3 designs. You'll get all of the paper products, punched and otherwise, in order to go ahead and complete those cards that we're going to do today. And all you have to do is make a purchase of $35 before shipping and tax, and make sure that you share your information with me as your demo, and use the host code or link to the host code that will directly link you to that host code, so you'll be able to make that purchase. If your purchase is over $50, I will also send you a free embellishment. And if it's 150 or more, don't use the host code. Just drop me a message saying you still want the card kit class, but you will be able to get the Stampin' Rewards for that $150 plus purchase. All right, so we're going to use this stamp set, and we are going to be using the Delicate Florals, which goes with this stamp set quite well. We're going to start today with this card using the Pretty Peacock card base and the Delicate Florals paper, and then just on the inside we have that going today. So I'm going to get my little bits together, and I'm going to stamp my happy birthday in Pretty Peacock. So let me get my stamping pad out, and here we go. Just want to make sure I get it good and centered with my bit of cardstock here, just like so. Beautiful. And then I'm going to go ahead and affix it down with my glue to this little label I cut out with our new hexagon punch. I'm going to give it a little bit of a border on each side, just like that. And with this stamp, I'm going to stamp off my Pretty Peacock onto... I'll just stamp it off onto this really quick. So I don't want a full inked image on here, so I'm just going to stamp off and go ahead and make sure it's a little bit onto the words and on both the cardstock and the white cardstock as well. I'm going to do it in the reverse position, going down that way. There we go. Then I'm going to take my other bits. Oh dear, I may have had a little catastrophe here with my bits. Let me stop. There we are. Here's some of them anyways. It does look like I might be missing one of my pieces. All right, let's try and get this going. So for these, I used the Bubble Bath blends and the Daffodil Delight blends and the Parakeet Party blends, which, here we are. All right, let's go ahead and, I don't have, here we go. Let's just grab up this piece again, and we're gonna do some coloring on the back side of this vellum. If you want it to be much more deep impression, then go ahead and use your Stampin' Write markers instead. So for this one, I'm going to start with the light of the lemon lolly. Sorry, lemon lolly. I think I might have changed my mind on this at some point, but we'll go with lemon lolly for today. Get it nice and covered. And then with the dark, I'm going to create a deeper center and start extending out into the top, but not all the way to the top, because flowers sometimes have variegated color shifts, and that's what we're going for there. For our leaf, I'm going to do the light parakeet party, but this time I'm going to use the brush tip. Get to those edges. Oops, hold on. Hopefully you can see what's going on here. There we go. And then I'm just going to create a little bit of lineage through it to kind of give the impression of a leaf. It doesn't need to be precise or very accurate. And then when it flips over, you can sort of see that. And then with our bubble bath, once again, I'm going to start with the light and do our coverage on it. And on this one as well, need to flip it over. I'm going from the back side, which gives it kind of a stained glass-ish look. Gosh. Bring it up higher so you can see better. I'm not able to see the camera too easily right now, so I'm sorry if you're not getting all of it. I've also got a meeting I have to get to, so just doing my best here. All right, and then I'm just going to kind of go around the outside edges with the dark bubble bath and the center part. You don't need to, again, be too precise. It's not going to be terribly obvious. Oops, hold on. Okay, there we go. Then I'm going to take my glue dots and assemble my pieces. So I'm going to use this as the base. Put a glue dot right there in the center. Or well, I guess this is not the base, but helps if you actually get the glue dot with it. So place that on the glue dot and grabbing up, and I'm still missing. The glue dot does not want to leave the paper. Okay, uh-oh. All right, let me get some additional light in here for you. All right, so I'm just going to kind of line them up so that you've got some pretties going on around like that. And since I don't want to play with the glue dots anymore, I'm just going to take my Take Your Pick tool and grab up the next dot off of the paper and attach it to the base of this little bit here. And place that in the center of our lovely little flower. And then on the back, I'm going to attach the leaf with another glue dot. If I can get the glue dot off. I got the glue dot off. There we go. And actually several glue dots because I'm going to want it on the back of the card. So I'm going to put one on these where it's overlapping so it's less obvious. And then I'm going to bring my leaf and attach it to that bit right there. I'm going to set it aside for the moment. I'm not going to have time to stamp the interior of the cards today, but I will show you what I did. And then I'm going to line up my cardstock and fold it, get my good crease down, use my bone folder. There we go. And then I'm going to attach some glue to my designer series paper here and attach that to my pink matte layer. This is really pretty paper, and I'm having some issues, so let's try it again. Make sure to get my corners really nice, and alright, there we go. Then we'll flip it and put glue on the back of our cardstock and attach that. Make sure we're in the right direction here. And then attach it there. Nice. Alright, so what I'm going to do is get some dimensionals on the back of my sentiment label. About 5 dimensionals works quite well with this. And while I'm doing that, I want to let you know that Stampin' Up! Is having an amazing join special starting next month on the 3rd. Oops, I want one more in the center just to keep it nice. There we go. Let me see if I can play this game that everybody... Oh, hey, that actually works. Where you stab it and lift off the bits. Alright, so then I got it fairly kind of not 100% centered on, and then I placed my lovely little flower towards the top on this one, and on the interior I stamped a lovely flower on this white base, layered it on the pink. Oops, there we go. And then placed it on the interior. And it's quite easy to do, and you'll get all of the paper supplies to put all of that together. So that is the first card. Now the second card is this lovely card. And I used the azure blue, and the rest remained the same. And on the interior I have some, the back side of this designer series paper down here is a little strip, and then stamped that flower on the interior. So let's go ahead and take our little bits because we're going to need them all, and we'll put those aside for now because I'm not going to have time to do that. Let's fold our cardstock and get a nice crease going on that using my bone folder. These bone folders are some pretty awesome tools to have. Alright, I'm going to put some adhesive with my seal on the back of my DSP and line it up with the cardstock. There we go. If I have time, I'll do some of the interior stamping just to show you how I did it, but unfortunately I do have to get to that meeting. So this join special that Stampin' Up! Is doing starts on October 3rd, and it will be either 35% off of a starter kit or 35% more. Normally our kits are $99 and you get $125 worth of product. With this special, it will be If you do the 35% off, it'll be $64.35. Or you can get, instead of $125 of product, if you spend the $99, you get $168.75 worth of product to choose from. Let me get my vellum bits over here, and I'm going to stamp in Berry Burst. There we are. You're the best. And these stamps all come from that translucent Florals stamp set. Get a good line up and stamp down just like that. That's all she wrote there. So we'll go ahead and attach that to our label so that we can do the stamping of the image across the cardstocks to give us a nice clear image. I'm just going to grab, all right, let's go ahead and grab this guy. And I need to clean my other stamp because now I'm using a different color. Oh dear. Dropping everything here. And I don't want the Pretty Peacock mixing in with my Berry Burst. So let's go ahead and, again, we're going to stamp off just like we did with the Pretty Peacock. Actually, I'm going to do it light. There we go. And I did 2 stamps off just because this can be a little overwhelming and we don't want it too overwhelming. We're going to be doing that again in the same color, so I don't need to clean that one this time. But we are going to close our stamp pad for now because we don't want any accidents. And we're going to, again, with the blends, color our vellum for this flower. As soon as I get all the bits over here, we're going to do Lemon Lolly on the little guy. And I'll use these guys to hold it where I want it. And this time I'm just going to use the brush tip. I'm barely touching it. I am definitely spreading ink across it, but I don't want to damage the tip, so I'm just being careful about how I'm using it. And I'm using the dark and extending out a little bit, but mostly getting that center piece with the Lemon Lolly. And those will be it for that centerpiece. And for the leaf, again, I'm using Parakeet Party. I'm going to start with the light. I'm going to get the brush side, brush tip, and you don't even need to worry about coloring in the lines as long as you have something to pick up the extra ink as you go over the edge, and sealing that up and bringing out my, this time I do want the brush tip or the nib tip because I want more defined lines. So I'm going to go down the center and do my little veining on my leaf up, and that one is good. And then we're going to do our azure blue for the flower. I'm going to start again with the light, grab up my brush tip. I'll start on this guy. And I can tell which side is the down side because it has a crease going up, which makes it interesting. And then I'm just going to do the other one at the same time with the light azure blue. And then I'll do all the dark bits at the same time instead of going back and forth. there we go. I have the light done, and now I'm going to do the dark, and I am going to use the brush tip, and I'm going to do the same thing I did with the other flower and just kind of go around the outside edges and the center to give it that kind of variation. And make sure I get all that little bit there. All right, and we'll get this one. Get that center really good. Go around the outside of this guy. And get the last petal really nicely done. There we go. All right, now I'm going to dump those out onto my mat. And I'll need that one more time for the last card, but right now we'll call that good. Let's get our glue dots going. I'm going to use the pointy end of my Take Your Pick tool because it makes it easy to pick it up. Normally I have no problem doing it the other way, but right now I am having a little bit of issues. So I'm just going to center that glue dot there in the center and place my other flower over the top and give it a kind of nice little spread there. And then I'm going to want another glue dot in the center of that. So I'm just going to grab it up, place it in the center. And for this one, the flatter it is, the better. And I'm going to grab up my actual little centerpiece with the putty end of my Take Your Pick tool. This is a really awesome tool too. It comes with another tip that has scoring blades, big and small. And then of course this one also gives you a flat tip as well. So it's very useful. But now we need another glue dot, and we're going to put it on our leaf end here. And we're going to attach it to this little open spot in the flower, just there. And then we'll need some glue dots for the back of our little flower. A couple, just so it seats itself quite well where you want it on the card. I do like placing it in the center because that's got the most layers of vellum and therefore the least amount of glue dot that will show through the finished product. And then I'm going to put one right there on the leaf. And alright, now I need my dimensionals again. And I need my sentiment, which went missing temporarily. There we go. I've got it back. We're going to put our dimensionals. Again, I'm going to do 5 of them. We're going to try to. And there we go. And one more. And then this nifty little trick, you just stab and pull, and I'm doing it towards me just because I right now have a pretty good handle that way, and it doesn't want to do that last one with that many on there, so I'm just gonna get rid of the extra papers, make sure I've got my and then so this one I had here because I wanted to have the most flowers, but this one has got this lovely bouquet here, so I'm going to drop it down to the corner down here, and I'm going to use my flower, and I'm going to go about right there with it. And the interior again that I did on this one was with that lovely flower on the inside. And again, if I have time, I'll go back and do those interiors. I just don't know if I'm going to have that time right now. So I'm going to do my best to get back and do it. But it's really just stamping. I didn't even do stamping off. Alright, this next one looks like this. And I'm going to go ahead and fold my cardstock card base and use my bone folder to get it down really good. And then I'm going to take my adhesive and stick it on my matte layer, which is the bubble bath. And this is just 1/8 inch margin all around, so it's pretty tight quarters in there. And I love these little small flowers too. It's also nice. I'll be featuring this paper, this specific one out of the set, on one of the cards I do on Sunday. And then also one of the leaf papers that come in this set will also be one of those. And the flowers are going in all directions, so it doesn't matter. Direction is not a concern to be worried about. All right. So here's those bits, and now I need this bit and these bits. Oh my goodness. Oh, I found the other one that went missing. That's okay, I used it. I picked up another one I happen to have, just hanging out. All right, so this time I also did Happy Birthday, but this time I did it in the Berry Burst, so I need to clean the pretty peacock off. And I just love how easy that just cleans and dries. Makes it very nice. And where's my Berry Burst? There it is. Open Z up. Get our stamp set again. Tap, tap, tap. And right down in the center. It's easier to see the center from standing. There we go. Very nice. And now we're done with that one. We're going to glue this down to our label that we punched out. Just like that. Up a little bit. There we go. And then we're going to do our stamping off that we did before. Give it a nice little bit there. And twice. I stamped off twice because I didn't want it overshadowing my design. I just want a little bit of character added in. So there's that. Now I'm going to close up my ink pad. And we are going to color our vellum bits. This time we're going to use our Stampin' Write markers. And I'm using slightly different color choices. So instead of Lemon Lolly, I went with the Daffodil Delight and the Crushed Curry, because we don't have light and dark in these, and it's easier to see on a darker, but it is what it is. So I'm going to start with the Daffodil Delight because it's lighter, and I am going to use that brush tip end. Make sure I'm up where you guys can see better. Up higher. There we go. Next time I'll have a less distracting paper. So I'm just coloring it, and as you can see, this is definitely going to be much more saturated with color than the blends are going to be. And then I'm going to take my daffodil, or excuse me, my crushed curry, and instead of doing like outside and shading and stuff in that way, I'm going to do kind of lines. So the bottom pool is going to be dark, but then it's just going to be these little stamen, I guess, it's coming out and looking for that bee so it can make more flowers down the road. Assuming these are that kind of flower. I don't know, to be honest with you. Alright, we're going to do the flower petals last. And in this one, we're going to use our Garden Green Stampin' Write marker. Again, the brush end. And then we're going to add our additional details with Pretty Peacock. And I am kind of using the side of this brush just because it, oops, let's get that top a little bit there. It's going to have faster coverage and do less damage to the actual tip that way. And then I'm going to use the nibbed end for the drawing on it, and give it some of these little veining marks. And pretty easy to do. You don't really have to think too heavily on it. And there we go, another piece done. And then we are using azure blue for the flowers. And I'm not doing any special extra stuff on it. I am going to use the brush end. There we go. That's the word. It's really hard sometimes to talk and color and think all at the same time. Especially when everything has already gone quite wrong today. But it's getting done, and that's truly the important bit. And again, I'm just adding color using the side. I don't want to damage the actual tip of the nib or the brush. And as I see little bits that didn't quite get full coverage, I can go back over them. And I love this azure blue. And I know most flowers don't actually come in blue, but I love blue as a flower, so I like making blue flowers. And if you like blue flowers or other flowers that aren't normal color ranges for flowers, I encourage you to make the flowers that make you happy, whatever color that may be. That is part of what Stampin' is all about, is being able to make things to your liking and your tastes and desires. And it's really fun to explore and figure out ways that you can create things that you maybe didn't think you were able to before. All right, that is good. We're gonna close that up and be done with those for the day. So I'm going to put those down onto my mat and start with the glue dots. Alright, that's the side that was colored, so we're going to do it this way. And I'm going to grab a glue dot. And so this is really the base flower of this particular set, I figured out. The other ones probably are as well, but I just did them the same on top of each other. Just because that's what I liked. So I'm going to line it up how I would like to see it, which I guess is about like that. And then I'm going to grab another glue dot and put it in the center because I need to put my little stamen down. Because without that stamen, there will be no more new flowers. The bees are not happy because then they don't have their pollen to take back. I'm going to grab up my stamen, and I kind of want this little bit as the top of it, and so I'm going to set that down in the center area, and then a glue dot on the leaves towards the base. Uh-oh. Oh. My monitor went dark, so I thought maybe my camera stopped recording or something. Not happening, so we're good. And this one, it doesn't really matter where you place it, so I'm going to place it about there once I find my dimensionals. There we go. Dimensionals, dimensionals. Yeah, with everything that's already been kind of not working today, whenever the light goes out on my monitor, it freaks me out. It's like, oh no, Another problem. But we work through our problems. All right, I'm gonna pick off our backs. And when it doesn't want to do it on one go, then you clear your thing of the others, and then you are ready to go. So I'm about 2/3 down and 2/3 over, and then I need some more glue dots on the back of this in order to place it on the card. So I'm gonna need a couple of glue dots. I'm going to do one right there in the center, because that again is where it's built up the most, and therefore it's going to hide the glue dot the most. And another one here. And with this being a bigger flower, I think I'm also going to do one at that junction. Right about there. It's already got some darkness anyways from the overlapping colors. And then just lay it down on the card how you like it. And on the interior of this one, I stamped this flower and put a little strip of the same paper over the base there. You can do a sentiment inside if you so desire, but basically we now have 6 cards all happy and ready to go. And I can't show them all to you in one shot with this setup, but those are the lovely cards that we did, and those you will get enough to make all 6 of these cards. As far as the paper goes, I will punch out the labels and the vellum for you, and send you all of the paper layers, including the designer series paper, with that $35 purchase before shipping and taxes using my host code. I'd be happy to get that to you and be enjoying helping you. And it also comes with a free tutorial. So a PDF that shows you how to put the cards together and the different steps in writing and the measurements of how to do all of these. So if that's something you're interested in, please go ahead and put in that order. You have until next Tuesday, which, if my memory serves me, is the 3rd of October, which happens to be the day that that new join special starts. And in addition to that, I'm going to do a separate little video. There's also going to be a you can put a pre-order stuff on it that demonstrators are able to do of the new online exclusives that are coming out in November. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely reach out to me. I'd love to help you get that going for yourself. And thank you so much for attending my card class today. Sorry it wasn't live. I would have loved to have been live, but the technology peoples had another idea and plan for me. Have a fantastic day.